Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. And as you can see by the title, y'all, this story here. Okay, so let's get straight into the story of the time I almost got a $500 ticket. Yes, $500. Okay guys, so for those of you who do not know, I am originally from Louisiana. I have been living in Georgia, oh God, too long, but that's beside the point. But okay, when I moved here, of course, I was 19. I had a Louisiana, state license, and I actually let it expire because when I moved here, I did not have a car, and I knew I was not going to be driving. So I actually let the license expire, and I believe like 2 years 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I literally was not driving the whole time, guys. So 2.5 years later, I decide, okay, well, you know what? I'm driving. I think my sister had got a car and somebody had a car. And I was just like, okay, well, it's not good for me to be here. I've been here longer than 30 days and I need to switch my license over. So I did. I took my sister's car and I went to the DMV, in the city where we live. So when I got there, guys, I knew that the state trooper's office or whatever was connected to the DMV. But my mind is like only focused on getting my license changed over, whatever. So, mind you, this is a side note. Okay, in my sister's car, there is a handicap decal on the dashboard. The reason for the handicap decal is because my mother is partially disabled, and I really did not pay any attention to the decal, and I was really in a rush, as most of us are these days. So guys, I got to the DMV. I literally was going in to ask a question. I pulled into the handicap parking spot. Yes, I did it. I did, guys, because I really intended on, going in, coming out. I pulled into the handicap parking spot, and right in front of the handicap parking spot is like this window. You can tell it's like a mirror where someone can see out, but you cannot see in because it's a really dark window. So, y'all, I'm rushing. I'm not paying no attention to that window. I'm going there. It's a line long as my arm. So I'm like, okay, shoot. Y'all, I stood in line literally like 15, 20 minutes. So, mind you, at this point, for some reason, I believe my license had expired and I needed to change it over. But regardless of the fact, I needed to switch my license over. So, okay, after I finally talked to them about what I got to do, they tell me I have to literally start over. Start over with the driving test. I did not have to take the written because it had not been that long. So they're like, okay, you can take the driving test today. Just, go park your car in this certain area, and then, whoever is about to do theirs, you can just drive on up and go ahead. So the difference in the law here in Georgia and the law at home is, when, of course, I didn't have a license, y'all, I was riding dirty. But when you come to the DMV, you have to have someone with a valid driver's license with you. So I, get in the car, I'm getting ready, I'm pulling my little sister's car up to the spot where I'm supposed to, park so the person in front of me can go ahead and do their driving test and yada, yada, yada. When I put the car in park, why do I look to the left of me and there is a state trooper sitting there staring at me? So I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? So, when something like that happens, I'm just like, oh shoot, what the heck did I do? So I'm kind of like fiddling with my phone, trying not to look over there. So I glanced over there, let the window down. So he gets out of his car. He literally right beside me. So I'm just like, okay, well, he finna take the driving test too. So he gets out of his car. My window's already down. He walks over and he's just like, what are you here for today? So I told him, scenario, whatever. At that time, guys, I was married, so I had a wedding ring on my finger. So I tell him what I'm there for, and he tells me I'm about to write you a $500 ticket. After I stopped telling him, like at the point where I stopped speaking about why I was there, he just blatantly was about, like, I'm about to write you a $500 ticket. So I kind of leaned back in my car like, what? Excuse me? Why? So he was like, I've been sitting in my office for the last 20 minutes watching you. And I'm like, no, you have not been sitting in your office watching me. Watching me where? He was like, you've been parked in a handicapped parking spot for the last 20 minutes. And I see your decal. Are you handicapped? Is it your name on there? At this moment, y'all, I'm like, Lord, I'm already irritated. It was a hot day. I was agitated with the line. I was agitated by a couple other things that day. And he just had a whole attitude with me. Like, I understood the attitude, don't get me wrong. But y'all, I'm like, okay, one thing I was not about to do was lie and say, yes, I have a disability. What I did was, I explained the situation, okay, the decal is my mother's, da-da-da. He still tells me, well, I'm sorry, you about to get a $500 ticket. Then he looks down at my hand. He's like, are you married? And I'm like, yes. Why? What are you doing married? Why are you married? What do you mean, why am I married? I'm married. So he's like, how old are you? I don't even remember, guys, how old I was at this time. So he's just like, what does your husband do for a living? Why? So I'm really getting an attitude now, like, wait, you all up in my business. What is it your business? Like, why do you need to know what my husband does for a living? Because he's gonna have to pay this $500 ticket. Because you don't seem like you are. And I said, well, hey, I can call him right now. He's just gonna have to do that because I'm not paying for no $500 ticket. I told him straight up. So he literally asked me again, what does he do for a living? When I told him, he at the time was a assistant GM somewhere. So when I told him what he did for a living, he was like, oh, so one of y'all gonna owe me lunch. Gonna owe you lunch for what? For letting you slide on this $500 ticket. Because he was slick, like flirting, y'all. But he was just like, for letting you slide on this ticket. I'm like, well, you know what? We can get you lunch. You can meet us somewhere. You can give me your address. We will pull up on you, and any type of lunch you want, we got you. But that $500, I'm not paying. I'm having to tell my husband to pay it, but I'm not paying the $500 ticket. So he gonna be real upset. But I can't pay that. So he technically let it slide. He told me, I'm really supposed to write you a ticket for this because you're not supposed to, even though your mother is handicapped, you're not supposed to have the decal out if she's not even in the car. Yeah. After he drove off, I never thanked the Lord in my head so much. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie. I was scared. I was already irritated. And then I was like, $500? Do you know what I could do with $500? Like, who gonna give me a $500 ticket? Like, y'all, that was the craziest day ever. I went ahead, I did the driving part, I aced it, I was up out of that thing, y'all. I said deuces to the DMV, and I didn't go back for a while. Like, I made sure I didn't need anything, and if I did go, I'm like, you put the decal in that damn glove box. I'm not trying to deal with these folks. Guys, it was a stressful situation. But yeah, guys, that was how I almost got a $500 ticket at the DMV. Damn shame, damn shame. But until the next video, guys, leave all your comments, questions, and concerns down in the description box. If you are new to my page and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe to my page. And until the next video, bye guys.